Hi, Willie. How are things?
Hi, George. Not that bad. Just been busy all day.
Busy's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I published four newsletters, including one in text and in PDF.
Okay.
My thinking behind the PDF one is um, it's a consumer newsletter, but I place sponsor ads up at the top of it, and
Okay.
with the PDF I can make those links clickable, encourage people to download the entire issue and save it to their hard drive, so
Oh,
they can
good.
reference over and over again. And as they do, they'll keep
Mhm.
seeing the same ads over and over again too. So
Very good. Yeah. So you do the work once, and you just keep leveraging yourself then.
yes, and it's one of those newsletters that people tend to save, and many people even print parts of it out. So you know,
Very nice. Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
it's great having content like that that people will want to refer to regularly rather than just a one-shot deal, and they may forget about it after that.
yeah. And the other thing with it is, if I put it in PDF, it's easy to include graphics in it too, and even embed links to videos and things like that in it. So
Oh, very
uh,
good. Yeah.
yeah, I can take a screenshot of say a scene from the video, put that in there, and make that a clickable link, and
Yeah. And it makes it more appealing that way too.
it does. So that's
Very
something
good.
new I'm trying though. But looking at the Facebook lives, so we wanted to do the first one on Saturday. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes. Yeah. I think we're probably better off, my friend, sticking with the same time each Saturday if that works for you.
Yeah, it will. I mean, I can make it work, and that way people get used to tuning in at the same time or expecting it at the same time. Although
Hmm.
Saturday, Saturdays, Saturday nights, people tend to go out and party, you know,
Hmm.
take the family, maybe taking a movie or something like that. So,
That's
well,
right. Yeah.
but then again, it's going to be recorded so people can, the ones who don't make it live can tune in later. The ones who do make it live,
Yeah. They get
they
more
can
out of
ask
it.
questions.
Perfect. Yeah. And I'm sure you've experienced it's probably like never a perfect day or time to keep everybody happy. It's challenging enough just to say one time zone to try to find an ideal spot, let alone throughout the world. And you figure,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like um, nights around 7 or 8 p.m. are mornings in Australia, and
yeah,
mornings in all of Asia too. And it's well after midnight in the UK. They're 6 hours ahead of me. So
that's right.
so it, and Singapore's, well, that's in Asia, so they're probably 12 to 14 hours ahead. So they're the next day. Uh,
Correct. Yes.
yeah, you're right. It's difficult to find a time that's perfect for everyone, but
Hmm. We do
and
what we can with it. Yeah.
sure. So I still haven't posted an announcement yet on the Facebook Live. I'll do that tonight. I have to first review some tutorials because instead of using Zoom,
Hmm.
uh, I'm going to use my regular webinar platform. It's more,
Okay.
it's easier to use. Although Zoom, if you upgrade to, I think it's like a $40 or $50 option,
Hmm.
uh, then there's a button on there that says "Go Live," and you just click on the button, and your Zoom goes live. And that option, that account, let you have up to 100 people live on the call.
I think
Uh,
I do actually have that option because I do have, I won't say the highest end option really, but I do have more than just a basic one.
uh, uh, does your panel have a "Go Live" button on it somewhere?
Um, let's take a look here.
Okay, I'll look at it too. I know I watch a lot of the Send Out Cards training, and Jordan
Okay.
Adler, he uses Zoom all the time, um, and he goes live on Facebook inside of
Mm,
private Facebook.
gotcha.
So
Yeah.
he explained in his request how he does that, and it sort of basically upgraded Zoom account. Uh, but he also pre-records some things and then play those as if they were
Mm,
live, which
yeah.
Facebook frowns upon. you're not supposed to tell people it's live if it's not live. But
Well, we've both been very transparent about things since day one, so we don't want to take a chance of misleading people. Because if we do imply that it's live and people are asking questions during it and we don't answer any questions, it just looks bad on us and it affects our reputation.
yeah, I I plan on doing. We could do the live every Saturday, and I'll probably do another one on varying topics. One of those, and I'll do that one. I'll do it within my secret Facebook group, which I'm adding 10 to 20 people a day to now.
Very nice.
And so I broadcast it live so they can ask questions, and certain lives, which will be interviews. I will also post outside of the group that I'm sharing information.
Mm-hmm.
For example, our interview I would want to share with the world. I'm going to do one with my friend who's a heart surgeon in India who sells stuff to make money to pay for operations he does. My friend Eva Rosenberg is a enrolled agent with the Internal Revenue Service, and she's written 2 books that I own. She's so good at what she does that the Internal Revenue Service has actually changed their interpretation of some of their rules. She's argued with them, and they've changed their rules. So
wow, that's pretty influential.
And her last book is called Deduct Everything. It's how to write off practically anything from your car to whatever on your taxes. And
and where does she sell that? Because how we cover the financial side of holistic health as well. So if I can help her get the word out, why not?
Yeah, I'll track down where she sells it. It may be on Amazon. She sent me a review copy, and before she went to publication, I reviewed it, gave her a little blurb that she's actually got on the back of the book. I'm the only internet marketer mentioned in the book.
Wow, that's huge.
And I mentioned both in the book and on the back of the book.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she has another book called Small Business Taxes Made Easy that I keep near my desk. So I'm actually going to post pictures of her books on Facebook, and then tell people that I'm going to do a live with her.
Yeah.
The other one,
and I'm happy to share whatever lives with my people, and if it helps out, why not? Because I trust your judgment things. Sure.
I'm slowly building a bigger and bigger and bigger audience. I also will do one with Shel Horowitz, who his stated purpose is to help end wars, end poverty.
And hunger, I think it was. Yeah.
And I've known him for 15 years, I think now.
Well, it's a huge goal, but you figure it's just, why not him?
Yeah.
A lot of times people just say, well, who are you to think that you can do this? Well, it's got to start from somewhere. So if you don't have a belief in yourself there, how can you get others to believe in what you're doing?
Yeah, the goal sounds almost impossible.
Yeah.
And so I'll do one of those Facebook Lives a week, somewhere in the middle of the week, with one of those people. And I'll probably start that as early as next week if I can push enough people into my group. I want a big enough audience, although the webinars that I've hosted or tuned into, a lot of the webinar hosts will say, wow, we're really maxed out. But I've been on somewhere the guy was saying, we got thousands of people on, and I'm like, we have 100 people on.
Because you can actually see the list of some of these attendees.
Well, I can, because at times I was the guest, and so I was coming in on the moderator side of things, so I could see the presenter side of things. So I had a link that let me see all of what's going on behind the scenes, including private questions to the organizers.
Correct.
So,
just be upfront about it. That's the whole thing. It just, because people do their research and they can see if you're BSing them or not.
Yeah, I've seen a couple webinars that did have thousands on it. My friend Russell Brunson's done a couple. But then I've seen them that had like 50 on it,
And if it's 50, it's 50, and that's fine. Why pad your numbers?
Yeah. So, it's just a matter of me getting the word out on that. So Saturday
Okay.
we got the Facebook Live, and I will somewhere in there. I would like to do a podcast
Sure.
where it can be either 30 minutes, which gives us basically time to. A typical interview for me is 6 questions per 30 minutes. Um,
I think it's a good structure to have because you figure between, say, the intro and the conclusion, and you know, I think a half dozen questions, it gives enough meat to the interview.
yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. But we have the option of doing a half an hour interview or a 1 hour interview. And
Well, I'm open to 2 half hours if you're
okay,
okay with that rather than the 1 hour. And goes back to what we were speaking about before, where the attention span of a lot of people, you know.
okay,
So as interesting as we both are and we know our stuff, some people just have a challenge fitting that 1 hour in it. And the way that my brain works, sometimes it's an all or nothing approach. Where if I
yeah,
don't listen to the full hour, I just say I'm never going to get around to it. But I can find an easier time to squeeze a half hour in there for sure.
yeah. And if it was a live podcast, then people uh, on my platform can tune in and they can ask questions and make comments in a chat room. So they get to interact with me
Mhm.
as I monitor the questions and work with the interviewer at the same time.
Yeah,
And then it's archived on the Blog Talk Radio platform, where it's also pushed out via iTunes, Stitcher, and
beautiful.
similar platforms. So
Very nice.
I reach people who've never even heard of me or met me.
Yeah.
Via that platform. So um, we'll have to schedule a time to do that.
Um, Perhaps the Sunday if that works for you.
Uh,
You know, we can figure things out. You know where to find me when
yeah,
you know
yeah.
the things are working for you.
I don't really script the interview, but I write out in advance what I plan on saying and the questions I plan on asking. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
that
less surprises.
flow, yeah. And then I share that with the interviewee.
Hmm.
So yeah, Sunday probably could work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't need a final commitment now. We're just we'll figure something out. So
Oh
I
yeah.
should be around most of the day, and yeah, just throwing it
Well,
out
I
there.
like to tell my audience in advance that I'm doing the podcast so they can tune in, uh,
Hmm.
and I can post announcements in various places. I
Yeah,
have a co-host who lives over in the UK. Um, she may or may not be able to join us, but it's not critical. I got the co-host because I wanted the podcast to have an international flavor to it.
very nice. Yeah,
And she's a professional publicist who's gotten people in magazines like
wow,
Fortune and the Wall Street Journal and the New
that's
York Times.
amazing.
Yeah, she works with people for like 6 months to a year, her clients, and
Yeah,
yeah, she's gotten some amazing publicity.
that's wow.
Actually millions of dollars worth of publicity. And I've interviewed her before, but so I'll reach out to her and once we lock down a time, I'll reach out to her and see if she can make a Sunday podcast, which I'll need to
Perfect. Yeah, and
publicize.
yeah, and I was going to say like as far as the podcast and even the Facebook Live, I can share on Facebook. I can mention something on LinkedIn, put it in my newsletter. Anything to help out on that side of things. It's not just our stuff, but any of the other things that you're working on with others.
Okay.
Feel free to ask.
I'll do that. And I do the same thing. It's just, and a lot of people actually don't decide what they're going to tune into until the last minute. But
Which
I like
happens,
to
yeah.
advance notice because I can post both the radio show, which is a podcast, and the Facebook Live as a Facebook event. So I list it there. And with the
Hmm.
event, you can invite up to 600 people who are
That's huge.
contact your friends. And so that takes time, I go through and, selectively pick 600 people, send them an invite, which they get in their Facebook private messages.
Gotcha.
And so actually, it's not in the center when the private message is on the side as a notification. So
Okay.
it says you've been invited to an event. And,
Very nice.
yeah. And so, so I have my work cut out for me, but that's all I plan on focusing on this over the next several days is
Yeah, busy.
getting word out about those events. So,
Very nice.
yeah.
Well, I just thought of a few other things, Willie, as far as the Facebook Live, because you know how Zoom allows us to share and record our respective screens. So
Right.
what I'd like to experiment with a little bit is when you're doing the Facebook Live, if Zoom will actually let me record it too.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
may have some possibilities.
I always record every call I do on Zoom. That's a broadcast. If it's an interview or something like that.
Oh,
So,
perfect. Okay.
yeah, I do that, and uh, I upload some of them to YouTube and share the link on YouTube, for example. On all the social media sites. I'm active on LinkedIn, Google Plus,
Yeah. Very nice.
Instagram,
Yeah, the main ones here.
Twitter, um, LinkedIn, and a couple others. And so I share on all those platforms.
That's great.
Yeah.
Adds up after a while.
Yeah. But then it's a matter of timing because on platforms like Twitter, the tweets scroll so fast that
Exactly. You get lost in the shuffle, and you could easily be lost 100 messages deep just after 5 minutes.
yeah. So and I'm following 45,000 people, and I don't remember how many are following me, but somewhere in the same number on Twitter. I hadn't focused previously on increasing my Twitter followers, but now I think I want to get to over 100,000. I have friends I know people who have 1 million.
Wow.
And some of those people earn their income from selling tweets. So it's like, I'll give you a shout out, if you pay me $50 or $100 or whatever, and that's how they earn a living.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there are even sites that they can list on that they offer shout outs, and these are many of them are celebrities who are has-beens. They were famous at one time, and
Okay.
movies or whatever, and now nobody.
Yeah, maybe they're just C-listers now or something.
Yeah. So, what other notes did you have though?
Did you get a chance to review the revised Word document that I sent you as far as?
Yeah. I have it done.
Yeah. So any changes you want to make as far as the intro, I'm happy to go with your suggestions.
Okay, I'll look at it. I have it right here though. I printed it out because I'll put it next to my monitor so that I can look at the camera and glance at my notes.
Perfect.
But I'm looking at the camera because if I have it down lower in the screen,
it was the eye contact on. Yeah.
Eye contact. You look like you're asleep, you're drunk.
Yeah, we don't need that.
So, and similar broadcasts like that. So,
it's a learning experience.
It is. Well, I used to have a camera I mounted on a tripod, and I broadcast from that camera. So I put the tripod on my keyboard. So I'm looking at the camera, but I'm looking at the person. I'm looking at the person through my camera. I use an iPhone for that most of the time. Just look at the person I'm talking to directly on the iPhone, and I'm looking at the camera. And my iPhone shoots very good high definition video.
Yeah, well, iPhones have come a long way over the years for sure.
Yeah, it's got like dual cameras in one, and so it shoots big from several different angles. Almost all the pictures and videos I share on Facebook were done with my iPhone.
Wow, that's amazing.
I go for a walk and I'll shoot pictures of different things, and I posted, I think, probably 20 pictures today on Facebook, for example, and shared a lot of other things today.
Busy, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've covered most of what I wanted to cover. The notes are fine.
Okay, feel free to play about that intro, and whatever you'd like to say about that, and it could maybe like a portion of that can be posted on your timeline. I can put it on mine, and so people know what to expect from it.
Okay. And if we're doing it using your Zoom platform, you'll be in control of things and recording things for the first call anyway, I guess. And I'll share the link.
And one
So,
other thing, so
so
I was going to say,
we need for you to look at your Zoom account and see if you have the capability to broadcast. I guess you could ask your,
mhm,
but I know it's there.
okay. Yeah, I can send a message out tonight. It depends on how responsive Lance is and when he can get back to me. And I'm just thinking, like, if my Zoom does not do that, like, you can still take care of things on your end from the sounds of it? As far as,
Yeah,
like, just,
yeah. It, but I'd probably use my webinar platform, although I could upgrade my Zoom account too. It's
well, I'm thinking as far as the Zoom account, it's like, because, like, we could still do the recording on my side of it. It's just, I don't know if that does have to go live. If it does not, at least we've got the archive side taken care of.
okay, sure.
Yeah, and we should be good like that. And another thing that I was thinking of is when we are mentioning the whole Facebook Live and how it ties in the package, should we say like, okay, we do it every Saturday for how many weeks? I'm not too sure how we should structure that.
I looked at the chart that shows the different titles, and some of them we didn't really give a description. You just later in there you said nutrition, protein,
Yeah,
carbohydrates, vitamins, flexibility,
correct. I
cardiac
just want to,
resistance training, supplementation.
yeah, and I can fill out the gaps there down the road. So I just want to show you what the topics were, just to show you that there were a fair amount of topics to work with.
Sure,
So,
and because people do have a short attention span, you can have a lot of short videos,
mhm,
but easy to digest, and people will look forward to them, and they've learned something on each one, and
yeah,
we give them the link to go and check out the package on each one. Sure.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking it's like, because I'm not too sure how many Saturdays we'll need to cover all the topics. Like, we may just kind of, I'm still kind of up in the air about that. Like, if we could just say, okay, it's every Saturday for the next 8 weeks, or,
We could play it by ear. We don't have to tell them necessarily how in advance how many Zooms we'll be doing. Uh, you know,
okay,
just
so maybe just say that it's going to be like, every Saturday, and
yeah,
we'll find a way of phrasing it. Like, ultimately it's going to be until further notice, but we don't want to just end it abruptly.
right,
But,
right.
yeah, that's something like you'll certainly play by ear and sleep on and see what we can do with that for sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I read the message and it made sense. So we're sort of coming across as me introducing you to my audience, but you're really uh, conducting, the teaching and stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah. So I don't know who should introduce who or who should introduce the topic, but that'll work out. We'll figure it out.
Um, Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of you introducing me, since you're the interviewer and I'm the guest in a sense.
Okay, sure. That works. Yeah, your text starts off with, "Hi everyone, George Stavro here from the Stavro Method, along with my good friend Willie Crawford." So it sounded like you were doing the introduction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of had that sound. Yeah, I wasn't sure, like, if it's come out the way that I intended, and
Okay.
you know,
We can change it slightly, and then I can just briefly introduce you. And
mhm. Okay,
if I'm the one bringing the audience, then most of my audience knows me.
hmm,
Some have known me for 2 decades.
that's a
Yeah,
while there. Yeah,
yeah.
says a lot.
I got tuned into a webinar that Matt Basak did earlier today, and which lasted 2 hours. And Matt was selling a $9.97 product, but he just from listening to the webinar, I picked up like a dozen things I'll implement. But he mentioned that I'd started 4 or 5 years before he did, and that he'd learned a lot from me. And so
That's
he,
quite a compliment.
yeah,
That's great.
because he has a mastermind group that's like $10,000 to be a member of. a year.
Wow.
And well, I know people with $25,000 mastermind groups, but these are all the members are millionaires, so they don't care.
It's just a drop in the bucket for them.
Yeah, they network with each other, and people like Ron LeGrand, who makes his money from buying and selling real estate quick turn. He buys it and doesn't really do much work to it, and then sells it as quick as he can at below market value, so the person gets a bargain. And
I think I may have actually seen a workshop of his ages ago. I think it's the same person I'm thinking. He may have come to Toronto years back.
He probably did. And Ron, he actually trademarked the term, the less I do, the more I make. So he
Love it. Yeah, just be focused on things.
Yeah, he gets an idea from his mastermind group, and then he calls or emails one of his assistants and says, do this. And so that he's outsourcing most of the work, and including now the buying and selling of real estate. He's got a business manager that does it for him. So
leverage yourself. If you've got the right people working for you, why not?
Yeah, but I mentioned because Ron is in Dan Kennedy's mastermind group, which is $25,000 per year per person.
Wow.
And all Dan does is he hosts like 4 meetings a year or something, and he just facilitates the meeting. He doesn't really teach. The members of the group are all multimillionaires, and as he goes around the room, they're telling what they're doing in their businesses, and it's very powerful because they just feed off of each other. And so Dan doesn't have to.
He just shows up. But the fact that he's the hub and it connects with people like that, people appreciate the connection. So it's just a smart way of leveraging his efforts.
And I mentioned that because as I listened to Matt Basak's webinar today, I was flooded with ideas that he was sharing that he uses. One of those is he offers a lead. He offers some free gift as a lead generator to get people to subscribe to his autoresponder. So he may offer a free ebook or audio, video, whatever.
Yeah, just get him in the funnel.
Yeah, as soon as he gets them in the funnel, the first message out of his autoresponder is his thank you message. But in every thank you message that he sends out, there's a PS at the bottom that offers one of his products for sale. And
very nice.
20% of people who read that welcome message ends up buying the product he recommends.
Yeah, and you figure what's it takes just a few minutes to put that PS, and from what I've read, the PS sometimes is more powerful than the initial message.
Yeah, but see, if somebody joins most of my list, I go, welcome to the list. I'll be sending you more information on whatever topic. Here's where you can download your gift. Or I'll redirect them to the download page, but still send them the message.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go back through my autoresponders and just add a PS to my welcome message.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've learned from you, well, one of the many things, is just certainly provide a lot of value for it, but you still have to promote something. Because if you're not, you're doing them a disservice, but you don't want to be all about the promotion. Because if somebody says, the only time I hear from you is when you're selling something, they're quickly turned off and they'll unsubscribe. But I think you've got that sweet balance where here's some solid stuff, here's something they can benefit from when they purchase and they choose to purchase. Great. If not, that's okay too, because they still feel that they're getting value and keep around for the next issue.
Yeah, and Matt also, as soon as you subscribe, he sends you to a page to download what you purchased. But on that page, he offers something else for sale too. So it's so just in that one action of subscribing, he's already got 2 messages out to you telling you that he's selling. And it's with that. He admitted that he gets about a 5% click-through on his emails. But his emails, they're very upfront. And so he tells them right in the subject line or in the body of the email, I want you to go check this out, but I'm selling something. So
I think it's great though. It's just no surprises.
He qualifies people, and he runs ads in two other people's list where he writes the copy. And because it's a lot of times, if you ask somebody to send you traffic, they'll use blind copy where they won't really tell what they're promoting to you. They just say, this looks great or whatever. And so they arrive at your opt-in form with no real expectation or not knowing what they're going to get. So most of them won't opt in because, they didn't know what they were going to get. So he talked, that it's better in that message that someone else is sending out to let them know exactly what to expect. And that way you get a higher quality of traffic.
Exactly. That's a big part of it. Yeah. Because that reminds me of an event I went to, and I think we spoke about this previously, ACN. I can't remember what the acronym stands for. Some kind of American Communications Network or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, an acquaintance of mine tried to get me out to it, and Alan was just getting me so hyped about it. I said, Alan, what is that I'm going to? And he said, oh, you're such a skeptic in this. And I was like, I changed some plans based on an iffy. So the plans I have in front of me are definite, and I know what I'm working toward. And he was just so persistent, I figured, okay, I'll just humor him, and I'll just totally turn off by it. It just, get people excited. Excited about what? Give me some substance.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, for the rest of the evening, I'm going to watch some tutorials because they've added more tutorials to the how to use my webinar platform. So I needed to go through those because they probably fixed some bugs with that platform. When you can switch presenters, so whoever's the presenter is showing his or her screen.
Very nice.
You can push the controls to someone else. Okay, but there was like a 3 or 4 second delay, so you need to tell people, okay, controls now. There's going to be a delay,
And it's good for them to know ahead of time. It just looks more professional.
And the person that you push the controls to won't start talking too soon because their slides won't be showing or whatever, So
that's right, and I've encountered that. Yeah.
So I wanted to see if they fixed that bug, and then I'm going to invite I don't know, probably 50 people into the private group tonight. What I do is as I post things and people respond, if I've known the person for a while, I'll send them a note inviting them. If they haven't personally known them for a while, then I click through their profile and look at who they are and what they do. And
makes sense. Get a little bit of history and see what kind of connection there is, if any.
Yeah, I look to see if they run their own businesses or work for someone else and things like that. Are they a tree trimmer or someone who works at a newspaper or whatever, So,
just so you know what message to get out there,
Yeah, so I'll work those things. I've been up about as long as you have today.
Yeah, tends to be a bit of an early start for both of us. Well, I've got just one more question because we have covered a lot. So, is there a way for you to actually capture the information of the attendees to the Facebook Live so you could follow up with them? I don't know too much about that.
Yeah. My system automatically sends messages out to anyone who registers.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
And it can I can send messages to those who attended, and it measures how long they stayed on the webinar.
Wow, that's powerful.
Message to people who attended all the way through to the end, because then I know those people heard the pitch.
The offers. Exactly.
And I can send messages to people who registered automatically, send messages to people who registered but did not attend.
Yeah, for whatever reason, maybe something came up. So we don't want to look at it as like, oh, well, they're not interested. Maybe they're interested, but life got in the way for whatever reason.
Yeah, my system automatically includes a link for them to watch the replay.
That's great.
And I can send as many follow-up messages as I want with that system.
Perfect. Well, and that comes in handy because we are doing the series of topics anyways. So it's good to know that we're not limited.
I can also send an unlimited number of messages before an event. So, if I had scheduled something a week in advance, which is usually too far in advance to schedule something because people don't decide, I can, send something 3 days before and then 2 days before and then morning of. And
exactly.
We're saying we're starting now.
Smart. Lots of options,
It's all automated. So, the
Frees up a
system,
lot of time.
yeah, it does. It does. And I like that system quite a bit. But Zoom has disadvantages too. So,
Good and bad with anything out there for sure.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I need to, look through my notes and then get a few things done and then get some sleep.
Okay. Yeah, and when you're ready posting it, I'll see your message and I'll post on my timeline too.
Okay,
Uh,
sure.
and I think we're covered from there. So um, I think just the rest of it, as far as like you taking care of the Facebook Live side, and one of the things that I suggest is just both of us showing up maybe 5 or 10 minutes before our scheduled time,
Oh, yeah,
just
absolutely.
so we're set up. And because sometimes people do show up early, and it doesn't look too good if even if we show up on time, if somebody's before us, it just looks a little
Well,
bad on our part.
with my system, I can show up and I can even chit chat in the chat with attendees. Uh,
Beautiful.
but I choose when to start the broadcast. I click the start broadcast button.
Nice.
That's when we technically go live, and that's when everybody can see whatever I'm showing them, my screen, my face, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and
and
to interrupt for a sec, I love what you say about chit chatting with people before the thing actually starts, because I've read about people that do, public presentations and things like that, and it's not just showing up without time and going to your spiel. It just worked the room a little bit.
yeah, yeah, people will ask you actually on the webinars. They'll ask, "Is this live?" And so responding to them right there in real time lets them know
Yeah.
it is live, and they'll ask, "Is it being recorded?" Because some people they'll do a webinar. They'll say there's going to be no recording. So you got to stay all the way through to the end, and they're just it's just a scarcity play. They don't make a
Yeah.
recording. So
Well, I understand where they're coming from, and it's like, what's to stop them from making a recording just to appeal to more people? And like,
uh,
and there's different ways of working with the whole scarcity thing. So they could even say, just say it's like, if you're at a live event, like we will be promoting whatever, and here's like the price that you can get at that event. If you listen to the pre-recording, it expires by this date. So maybe
yeah,
it's not the same type of discount.
or you say if you stay all the way to the end of the event and say this is only for people who are on the live event, I'm going to offer.
I'm sorry, you got cut out a little bit, really. Hello? Hello? Oh,
Can
yeah,
you see me now?
I can. Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of a glitch or something.
Yeah, yeah. It's I dropped off or you dropped off. Well, I didn't drop off because I didn't have to dial back in. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Like, you start to say that if somebody does the live event, they're going to get like whatever discount, and that's the last I heard from you.
or you don't generally want to tell the price until you've done your presentation because you need to show value. You need to show that purpose
Definitely,
of
that's right.
is to show that you're the expert, that you know the topic, and you give them some content. So you tell them the price at the end, but
Makes
you
sense.
could say if you stay on till the end, and this is for longer webinars, then I have a special gift I'm going to give you, and you could even announce what that gift is in the announcement. You can say I'm going
Correct.
to give this to one lucky attendee or whatever. I think I will do that on some of the
Mhm.
webinars. I need to come up with some gifts. They don't have to be too expensive, but they can be nice actually.
Yeah, and you've got your barter credits there as well, so it may be worth just using some of those also. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. I need to visit that site probably tonight and look at what's there, what's new. I mean, there's 25,000 business owners. There's all kinds of products and services there. So
There's a lot for sure.
yeah, and I mentioned on Facebook today on a post that I was going to start holding a contest, holding drawings, a contest that would run anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. And on those contests, I'll randomly select a winner, or have software that will randomly select a winner from all the entries. And then I'll, that person will win whatever. It could be a watch, it could be an iPad, it could be, whatever. It doesn't matter too much. It doesn't, because you can give them extra points for sharing the contest with others. My system will, give them it looks for their link throughout cyberspace. If they share on Facebook and so many links, so many points, they can comment on Facebook, so many points. If they share on YouTube, it's so many points. If they share on Twitter, so many points. And so
that's great.
While it's a random drawing, the more points you have, the greater chance you have of winning.
That's
so
right.
That's the
Very
incentive.
smart.
And what I can do is set it up so that when they enter, they're automatically added to one of my autoresponders.
Beautiful, yeah.
So now I can send a message out to them after the contest saying, sorry you didn't win, but I have another one starting, in a couple of days. Here's the link to enter that, or I'll send you the link later to enter that. And
perfect.
As a consolation prize, here's a discount coupon on one of my products.
Exactly. Very nice. And they still appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, and some will buy the product just for getting the discount coupon. But what that does is that software is intended as a list building tool. So you can gradually add more and more and more people to this autoresponder.
Wow.
You can just contact the ones who are in a specific contest. The software will segment the database, so you can reach out to those people. So that's one of the things I'm working on too. It's just a way of getting more attention. My friend Marlon Sanders points out that in cyberspace, now more than ever, it's a battle for attention.
I agree. Yeah, people are just overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, so people on Facebook are just scrolling through their timeline, and whatever grabs their attention, they go off and they watch a video or something, and then they, look at something else. And many of them will spend 4 or 5 hours a day surfing Facebook. I don't. I have specific times usually that I plan on getting on Facebook, and then I'll respond to a lot of comments. But I also auto post some things. So. In fact, I have a piece of software that's called Auto Poster, and I can pre-schedule up to 100 messages.
That's huge. That definitely saves a lot of time in the long run. And you could spend like one solid weekend just, developing the messages ahead of time.
Yeah, and I can share just text messages. I can share links. So I may go over to Amazon.com and find a grill that I really like. And I have done that, actually, a smoker, and just share to certain groups. And on certain social media platforms, I have this grill, or I really like this smoker. And you include my Amazon affiliate link.
Very nice.
It just shows up on Twitter and several Facebook groups and LinkedIn and Google Plus all at once. Yeah. And this software lets me post. Well, I can schedule my posts as often as I want. I could post every hour on the hour around the clock.
That's huge.
A given group I want to. And so, my friend Dr. Ron Capps calls that economy of action, where you do leverage software. The software is $29 a month for a subscription. It's
but next to nothing, really.
Yeah. So it's one of my favorite tools. I haven't shared that with many people online on social media yet, but I will in certain groups. It is pretty powerful.
Well, and the resources are certainly out there, so it's just about tapping to the right things and knowing how to leverage your efforts. You're trying to post everything manually, you'd be there all day, literally. and you wouldn't
You
really
would.
get too much done.
And I'm actually pretty much a stickler about controlling my time. In fact, I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is I go for a walk, and then I have what I call the one thing. That's the one thing I'm going to accomplish that day, but
Hmm.
get nothing else done. And so I will often unplug my phones and I will disconnect from social media
Yeah,
unless I need something to get that one thing done.
very good.
And then I
Yeah,
don't do it until I get that one thing done. I may go 2, 3 hours with letting everything go to voicemail. All
yeah.
my calls
Well,
and
that's a
stuff.
good approach, though, really. And you figure when that one thing's done, it's a sense of accomplishment. And if you have time for a second most important thing, that's great.
Right.
Because, and you've probably seen a lot of this in action where people will do, say, 100 things in a day, but it doesn't have as much impact cumulatively as that one big thing.
Or they never finish the things they're working on. They just jump
Yeah,
around.
yeah. It's nice having a sense of completion.
Yeah. So I have the discipline to do that. Some people, they would hear their smartphone chime and it's a message, and they'd answer it right away. I don't do that most of the time. If
No,
I'm focused on that one thing,
yeah.
uh, I'll ignore everything else,
I
because
think a lot of people that are like super productive follow the same approach.
yeah,
Because, and I used to be bad where I just pick up the phone whenever a friend's calling or something. Then I'm at the point to say, you know what? I'm not going to pick up. I let people know ahead of time that I'm just not going to be available. And some of my friends would be upset, saying, I know you're home because I see you're doing something on Facebook. I go, just because I'm home working like you're posting something on Facebook does not necessarily mean that I'm available to chit chat. And I'm
uh,
not being rude or anything like that. It just, I'm as protected as my time as you are.
there's I don't know what browser you use. I use Chrome.
I do as well.
The Chrome extension called it's I think it's called Facebook Be Unseen or
Okay.
Hide. And if you install that in your Chrome browser, it doesn't tell people when you're online. Uh,
Smart.
if you use regular Messenger, when you read a message, they can see you read their message, and
That's
I
right.
let them right now most of the time. But if I want to, I could activate that Chrome extension,
Hmm.
and it will not show them when I've read the message.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And the benefit of that is a lot of people want an instant response. They expect you, if they see you read their message and you didn't respond, they're like, "What's wrong?" Um,
I've experienced that too. And the approach I tend to take, Willie, is the response is kind of determined by the context of the message.
right.
So when I'm saying that, it's like, I'm running late. I apologize for that. But it's like, okay, Willie, I'm running late. So it's like, I'm expecting a quicker response from you because we were initially scheduled for the 7:30. Now, if you're not replying for a while, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
um, sometimes you also want to think about the response. Sometimes you don't
exactly.
want a knee-jerk response, and so
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest reasons I installed that extension.
correct.
I have a lot of fairly powerful extensions. I have one called Facebook Unfriend.
Hmm.
It looks at your interactions on Facebook and looks at people that you haven't interacted with, for a long, long time. It
Yeah.
shows you these people, and you can you can select all, or you can just click
Yeah.
individuals and
Well,
unfriend.
and I think
Um,
it's a good approach to have because say you're capped at your 5,000 right now.
yeah,
There may be 100 people that you don't do anything with whatsoever. It might have been somebody that friended you in the first place because you're a friend of a friend.
and when I first got on Facebook, which was about 10 years ago now, over 10 years ago, uh, everybody was trying to get as many friends as possible.
Yeah.
And now some people think that that's not that productive. So
No.
now I'm selective. And
And
one of the things I
sometimes
look
it's, well, I was going to say, sometimes like, they think it's a status thing. It's like, well, there's an acquaintance I spoke to a while ago and she was commenting on how many friends I currently had at that time as far as Facebook. She goes, you only have to kill a couple hundred friends? Like, yeah, but these are a couple hundred solid connections
right,
rather
right.
than 5,000 people that, well, you're friends with George, like George who? like they may not know me by just the first name, but if I give them the full name, they should be able to say something about me. If they can't,
Yeah.
then it's not really a solid connection at all.
So now when I get friend requests, every now and then I'll drop below the 5,000, and when I get friend requests, I click and look at their profile, and
Mhm.
I look at like how many of my existing friends are also their friends.
Yeah, and if there's a lot, then that's a different story. I know I'd be more inclined to be friends with them, but if there's nobody, I sometimes get random people, and there tend to be attractive women in the middle of nowhere, just want to friend me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I've had like a few chit chats here and there, like they say, "Oh, am I going to visit her?" and this and that. Like, I'm just talking to a woman. 5 minutes later, she's asking if I'm going to go to the Philippines to get to
Uh,
meet her.
yeah.
Like, nothing against the Philippines. I've never been there, but she's looking for a boyfriend right off the bat. Like, I don't know. It's an
Yeah.
interesting approach.
And I look at where they're from. I look at their profile. So I look at where they're from. I look at the posts that they make. You know, are they part of like some hate group or radical Islamic group or whatever? You know, is it somebody that I don't connect with on a interest level? So I look
Well,
at that.
and I know where you're coming from. An acquaintance of mine, he's actually a friend of a friend, and he just posts a lot of derogatory things about blacks. And I just can't call him a friend. And
Right.
I understand, like, okay, he grew up in South Africa, experienced a lot of racial things, but he's trying to put all blacks in the same category. It's like, because it goes back to the post that you did on Facebook a day or two ago. It's just, don't blame the white man for all the black man's troubles. It just,
Right.
there's good and bad out there. You know, so just be select about who you spend time with and try to raise yourself above that. So even if somebody is hating on you for whatever reason, get some strength from it and think, I'm going to prove this person wrong. I'm not going to sink to their level.
Yeah. I posted. I was prompted to post that because a friend, uh, a relative actually, shared a video with me, and he said you need to share this with as many of your friends as you can before I don't know, Facebook deletes it or whatever. And
Yeah,
it showing some uh, racial prejudice in certain parts of the country, and blaming all kinds of people for it. And I said, you can't. I said I won't share this with my friends.
no,
You need to rise above that. Even if there is something that bothers me, I'm not going to
mm,
share. And so that was what prompted that post. Um,
mm-hmm,
I didn't get into it too much, but he probably saw my post on my wall.
yeah.
And he shares a lot of things with me. Almost every day, he's sending me some short video clip or something. And
Well, you have to stand by your principles. There's this one acquaintance of mine. I like what he posted a while ago because in Canada, like there isn't as much tension, say, between the police and black people out there, but in the U.S., there's a lot more that I'm aware of. So what he was basically
yeah,
saying is, I don't know what it's like being a police officer where there's a certain amount of black people that hate them because he's a police officer. And he says, I don't know what it's like being a black man where there's a certain amount of police officers that hate black people. So he's not
yeah,
saying all police officers hate all blacks, not all blacks hate all police officers,
right.
but just there's a certain part of the population that makes the rest look bad.
Yeah, I've been stopped by the police several times where they just looked at my driver's license and said, you were speeding, why are you speeding? And I'm like, I'm going to hurry to get home.
Mm,
And they let me go. They just
yeah.
smile, go down.
And I just don't give people a hard time. And just say, this is what I'm doing. Like, were you speeding? Like, I'd probably show a picture of the missus and say, okay, wouldn't you want to get home to somebody like that sooner rather than later?
And I've been stopped and was carrying a weapon legally.
Yeah.
I told the officer, I said, I'm armed.
Hmm.
He said, what are you carrying? And I said, a 44 Magnum.
Yeah.
He says, isn't that a little heavy for the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably go through both car doors and hit the person on the other side of the car.
Wow.
Or I could drop to the ground, shoot underneath a
Yeah.
car, tie it up off the ground, and blow the person's foot off. And the
Yeah.
cop just he laughed.
Yeah. Well, and did you volunteer that information that you had it on there, or did?
Yeah.
Well, and I think it says a lot that you're volunteering rather than not volunteering. Then they find out later, it's like, well, why did you not share this information with me at all?
Yeah,
And then not change the tone of the conversation.
yeah. Well, it actually alleviates a lot of tension when you do inform an officer if you're carrying a concealed weapon in particular.
Yeah,
So, they won't get excited.
yeah. Like
And
I told police officers, like, because sometimes they have the wide check, see if you've been drinking. And if I have been, I'm gonna say, you know what? I've had a couple tonight. It's like, over the course of so many hours, here's why I
right,
had my last one. And they say, it's like, are you feeling okay? I'm feeling fine. And they assess the situation and let me go my way rather than I lie saying I have no drinks when I've had some. They may smell a little bit on me, and then that just leads to more questions. I go, they're doing their job, so why am I looking for a fight? Why don't I just be upfront and as cooperative as possible?
and the body can metabolize on average one drink per hour.
Hmm.
Even more than that, then the acetaldehyde builds up in the system, and that is what
Okay,
you feel drunk, and then they eventually lose your balance and coordination.
correct. Yeah,
So I also understand that, and a lot of the police officers I know are drinkers. So
yeah.
they understand, you know, uh, and so they don't harass me, I guess, because I look old.
Well, and you're easygoing though, and so it's like, you know you know how to assess the situation. I think a lot of it is you being you, and a fair amount of it is probably your military training over the years. And saying,
Right.
it's not that they're the enemy by any means, but it's just like, what do I need to do to make it a better situation for everybody?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it is my military training, but looks like we've gone almost an hour.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I apologize for taking up your time there.
Oh no, no. But I need to go and do a few things
Hmm.
before getting some sleep because I'll be back up tomorrow probably around 4:30.
Hmm.
I just automatically wake up at that time. I haven't used an alarm clock in over 20 years, so except when I'm traveling, I often have room service give me a wake up call.
Well, you figure it's a different time zone as well, so
Yeah,
it helps
yeah,
you get used to their time zone rather than your own biological clock.
yeah. So I do that, but I haven't. I don't wear a watch. you know,
No.
yeah. I just say well, I use my phone to tell what time it is though, so no difference there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am going to go and do an errand or two, and
Okay,
I'll
fantastic. Yeah,
chat
and
with
we
you.
covered a lot today, so um, feel free to just message me on Facebook when you've had a chance to revise the information I sent you. Yeah, and I
Okay.
think like my intro, it's a little confusing because it sounded like that I was doing the interview, but it's actually the other way around. So you've got my bio already, so
Yeah.
it's a matter of playing around with that however you see fit.
Yeah. I won't read it verbatim because that'll take up half of the interview.
Yeah,
But I will touch on the high points, and
exactly.
I can actually post it some places where I've posted the show description, and people can read it on their own.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, I have it now. I'm used to. I've done over 500 radio shows or
Mhm.
podcasts, and so I'm used to with a lot of people scripting out the interview. Even
Mhm.
I've scripted out interviews where I asked somebody else to interview me so that I
Mhm.
could create a product. So I gave them a script, said, here,
Yeah.
ask me these questions, use this
Mhm.
verb to introduce me.
Yes.
And we jump on a webinar platform, record the interview, and either make a video or an audio, and then I could turn around and sell that as a product. And
Mhm.
I have
Yeah.
make
Smart
a product
approach.
in an hour.
Yeah, and
And
if you have enough of those, then you have those residuals coming in.
yeah, and I have quite a few.
Yeah,
And I've actually had people interviewing me, and I've said something that just blew them out of the water, and they're like, "Whoa!"
yeah,
And they texted me later and said, "I want to sell this as a product," and I'm like,
yeah.
"Yeah,
That's amazing. That's a great approach to have.
yeah." So, like I had one guy interview me, and I was telling him this technique I use where I could get ranked in Google within an hour,
Wow.
and Google likes certain platforms, so it's basically just posting some of your content on the platform in the right way, optimizing the title and the description and the keywords. And
Hmm.
within an hour, I'd show up in Google on the first page.
That's huge.
Position. And this friend Terry, who's a fireman, he said, "Whoa!" and he started selling that, and he put it up right away for sale.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I know a lot of things, and I keep saying
You've been at this for a while.
not in the knowing, it's in the using of those things, so that you know.
That's such a big difference. Yeah, I've been guilty of that. It's just, I'm at the point where I've actually unsubscribed from a lot of newsletters. It's not to say that they're bad or not informative.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep it to a bare minimum and just focus on doing something with what my current knowledge base rather than just looking for the next thing.
Yeah, Gmail sends the most newsletters that I receive to the promotions folder. So yeah, I go there and sift through it from time to time, and I'll delete 50 to 100 emails unread.
Yeah.
I'll read the ones I want to read.
Smart approach. Yeah. Why clutter your mailbox or your mind?
And if it's somebody I really want to hear from regularly, you can Gmail lets you drag it out of the promotions folder and the main folder, and then
directive.
Yeah, and then it asks you, would you like all future emails from this person to go into your main folder? And
Smart move.
Yeah, so,
Like that.
I use that regularly. Anyway,
great tools out there. Well, I know we could be chatting a lot longer, so I don't want to keep it from your errands. The time's always appreciated, my friend. So I'll keep an eye out for your PM on Facebook tomorrow when I get in from work.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thanks again for everything, my brother. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.